All right, on to the next one. So the next Earth planet I want to talk about in this episode has to do with the Earth sign Taurus. Some of you may or may not know a Taurus or have a Taurus in your life. Met a few over the years, but so the planet that rules the sign Taurus is Venus. Now, even if you don't know a lot about astrology, you probably heard or read a little bit about Venus in terms of mythology, and that's something that you could also refer to in understanding these planets and what they mean, because they have a close reference to mythology anyway. So for Venus, it represents love, and that's another part of the mythological part of it. But it represents love, how you love, I guess it could be what you love, anything along those lines related to affection or how you demonstrate affection, people that you're more likely to be in love with, are affectionate towards, things that draw your attention, your attraction. So when you look at like your chart when it comes to Venus, the Venus placement tells you a lot about a person, how they give love and how they like to receive it. That was what I read years ago, and I think that there's a lot that can be said about that is true. If you do want to understand how a person loves you, it's a good idea to look at their Venus sign. And also, sometimes when it comes to men, or specifically if it's like a heterosexual male, if you want to know what woman he is attracted to, what type of woman he's attracted to, look at his Venus sign. And I'll give you a hint, it's not always his sun sign. But Venus is never very far away from the sun. It's going to be no more than 2 signs away. So somewhere within 2 signs of where his sun sign is where his Venus will be. And that'll tell you what type of woman he finds attractive. That woman she could be the same sign as his Venus sign, or she could be in the same element. So let's say he has Venus in, let's say we're in the Earth planets now. So let's say his Venus is in Virgo. He might be really attracted to women whose sun is in Virgo or Taurus, a Capricorn, or maybe one of the water signs. Maybe. It's a good possibility. Or he may be attracted to women with those type of qualities. So they may somehow have the quality, but not necessarily be one of those signs. So if his Venus is in Virgo, he may be attracted to women who are practical, who are thinkers, analytical, a bit perfectionistic. He may like, just like kind of like the prim and proper type woman that's, maybe seems like she's put together or whatever. That may be what he's attracted to. A woman that's a good communicator in some form or fashion. So I hope you get the idea. Venus says a lot about what you like, what you're attracted to. Venus also represents socializing. Depending on how active Venus is in a person's chart, what condition it's in, sometimes the Venus planet can describe how a person socializes with other people. Like whether they're very social or whether they're not that social. It can describe that. Or whether they're really good with people. You ever meet people that are just so good with people? They meet you, they remember your name, they make you feel special, they look you in the eye and they smile. And so a person that's chart is Venus heavy somehow, whether it's through one of the signs that Venus rules, because Venus is just like Mercury, it rules 2 signs. We'll talk about the other sign later. But whether their chart is Venus has, prominent Venus, or heavy with one of those signs in terms of maybe a lot of planets in that sign or something like that, they could be very good with people and interacting with people and making them feel good. Venus also represents beauty, which to me ties to what you're attracted to. And the example that I gave earlier about Venus sometimes representing the Venus sign representing what a man finds attractive, it kind of ties in what he finds beautiful. And you may find that when you look at a man and he's like, man, that woman over there, oh, she looks great. And you look at what he likes, it'll probably have something to do with the Venus sign. Venus represents fashion, so that's something you can look at. Venus being represented if someone decides to go in the fashion industry, maybe modeling. And last but not least, Venus represents money to a smaller degree, but definitely still represents money. If you listen to my other episodes about the houses, when I talked about the second house, I mentioned that the second house was associated with the second sign in the zodiac, and the second sign in the zodiac is Taurus. And so if you, again, link those three together like a little chain, put that in the link in the chain, you start to see how these things are all connected. So that's why I say to some degree, Venus can represent money. To some degree.